Professional.
Hey, what's up, phone lovers, and welcome to the Mobile War Podcast for the week of May 9th, 2014. I'm Joe Fidua.
I am Chris Chavez.
And I am Kevin Kraus.
I want to apologize before we get started for my nasally voice. I am coming down with a cold, so
You're all stiffly.
I know
Always
I'm all
something.
stiffly and.
Always something with one of these Mobile Roar guys.
I mean, how do you get a cold in May? How do you get a cold in May? It's like 70 degrees today.
Doesn't it always snow in Michigan? Isn't that where?
Yep, always.
just be careful, your appendix.
I haven't
might-
seen grass in like 5 years. All right.
Also, Chris, how you feeling? We missed you last week.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
have my appendix. I'd show you, but it's like on my lady parts, my stomach. But I got a laparoscopy,
Laparoscopic
Liposuction.
surgery.
Of course you would get
Lap-
liposuction.
laparoscopic
Yep.
to get my appendix removed. So last week on Sunday, I was like dying of stomach pain, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And it was anytime I ate something, so I'd put this like a couple of peanuts, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. And this is like the third time it happened, so it's finally like I got to go to the doctor and get this addressed. So I used my brother's insurance and
Why are you telling us?
falsely impersonated somebody, but no, and I got the whole procedure done. And I guess it was my appendix that was like ready to burst, and
No.
they cut like 3 little holes in me. I never knew what laparoscopy is.
Laparoscopic surgery.
Laparoscopic, yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently, like the recovery
That's
time.
the easy type of surgery.
Yeah,
Did
they get like a
Yeah.
straw and like blow up your stomach, and then they put these 2 other little things. They cut 2 other little holes, and they go in and just like do mess around, and then they're in and out like within a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Were you awake? You should have been awake, just like playing on your phone. Like,
No, I wasn't. I mean,
He was
this
live
is
tweeting it.
my first time at a hospital or going to a doctor or anything, so it was all brand new to me. And I'm just like, I don't think this whole, what do you call that, when they put you under? I was like, I don't believe that works. Like, how can they just? And then the next thing I know, I'm just like, boom, just totally done out.
Yeah.
And then I'm waking up and I felt like 50 Cent. Like I got shot 3 times in my stomach.
It is a pretty easy surgery, though.
Horribly
Are you a
painful.
little sore yet?
I was the first couple of days. I couldn't do anything, but now I'm like almost 100% like better.
Sweet.
so that's
Yeah.
good. We're glad.
Awesome.
you're
Well, we're glad to have you back because we have some good stuff to talk about this week. We'll get started here.
What's news?
First thing we'll talk about is not really news related, but I wrote a post this week about Android malware and malware.
Sondisk.
Malware is like what you wear, like when you go out shopping. It's like
When you
stuff-
go to the mall,
stuff you can take off easily to try other clothes on. That's your malware.
what is it, like leggings and denim jacket?
Jegging.
But yeah, so obviously everyone knows all the talk about Android viruses and stuff like that. There's a lot of, I guess, fear-mongering about it, and
It's ridiculous. It's not even
Yeah.
in tech circles. It's just anywhere you go. Like, just, I mean, I
it
was in the
really
barber
is
shop.
more so people who don't know about tech that think this.
Exactly. Yes. They heard from somebody who read a headline somewhere, and then they're just like, "Oh, Android has all these viruses,
Yep.
and it's ridiculous." And I just, drives me crazy when I hear that. And
So
I
my
haven't
post was truths. So like it was kind of, I wanted to set things straight. So it
the
was
record
6
straight.
truths about Android malware, and I know Chris, like you were saying, you have some strong opinions on this, so I thought we'd talk about it on the podcast. Because in my post, one of the
Yes.
things that I did was I suggested some security apps that you could use if you just kind of want some extra security and some peace of mind, because really you don't need any of that if you're using Android. But if you want some extra security, you can use these apps, and you think that even that is just completely stupid.
ridiculous, stupid, and it's just something that's running all the time. And every time you install something, it's scanning and using a battery, and it's just so ridiculous. I think it's so pointless and ridiculous.
But what you said that all of these security apps are scams.
I mean, I wouldn't say scams. I would just say, because scams sounds like they're trying to do you dirty when they're not. Most of them are free or whatever. But I just think that most of them don't really do anything. I don't know. Like I know when I had a PC back in the day, I would have, it would scan for viruses, and there'd be a couple times when it's like, holy crap, you almost downloaded something bad, or we blocked 17 viruses on your computer. Sweet. But anyone I know that's ever had just, any of these virus apps installed, like no one ever has been like, yo, it found a couple viruses, dude. I got really lucky. Like, and the whole virus thing, it really doesn't work the same way as it does like on the PC. It's kind of I don't know the technicals behind it, I guess, but it's a lot different on Android than it is on say like your PC or
I
something.
mean, I'd say even on a PC though, I think that like I wouldn't go as far as to call it a scam, but I think that the need for malware protection and antivirus protection, even on a PC, to me it seems like the main point I always try to stress, and I know on Fandroid, in the past I've covered the topic of Android malware and viruses a lot, and I always try to stress when I'm talking about it, and I know Joe talks about this in his post too, is just that, and this goes with PC, maybe you're a little bit more vulnerable on a PC, but on any platform really, I mean the first line of defense is just being a smart user and not making dumb choices, not going to the darkest depths of the internet to download software, and you're usually going to be okay. But more so on a smartphone, I mean, if you stick to, true, there are some kind of spoof apps that actually make it to the Google Play Store that can trick you, but I mean, you just have to be a little more vigilant. You have to be vigilant. Only download from the Google Play Store, and even when you download from the Google Play Store, you need to make sure, am I actually downloading the app that this says this is? Like, is this actually Flappy Bird, or is it a game called Flappy Bird that's filled with all sorts of...
read the reviews,
Yeah, read the reviews, and even then, like, there's a couple of apps. I mean, they're a little bit more shady and stuff, but they get good reviews because I mean there are people that are like, yeah, this works great, works on my like Droid Ares, and I'm like, oh gosh, 5 stars, and then I look at it, I'm like, this isn't even the real Flappy Bird, and it asks for all these extra permissions, and I mean I guess that's kind of my issue, is that if you're not going to really find like these horrible crazy viruses, chances are you'll never run into those if you just stick to the Google Play Store, and that kind of just eliminates the need for all of these antivirus apps and security apps. Chances are, if an app is doing something like malicious, it's because it's using existing permissions that are already in Android. It's going through your gallery. It's logging your keystrokes with a keyboard app, or all this other stuff that's are legit permissions. That's what these apps are asking for. So really, I just think it's silly. I think all those apps are kind of dumb, the security ones and all that stuff, and that's just...
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think a lot of them, a lot of the ones that I suggested that aren't scams, I guess, I think they do what they say, but what they say is not necessary. So while it is doing what it's advertising, it's still, you don't need it. So it really is just for your peace of mind. Like, oh, hey, I have this other app that's doing this too.
It's more or less a scam, and more kind of taking advantage of maybe uninformed users, or
exactly.
Your mom who like, oh, it's my first smartphone. I don't even know what this is. It says I'm going to get a virus. I better download this virus app.
I better download this because I don't want viruses.
And the number one thing that I said, like, if you are going to download these apps, absolutely under no circumstance ever buy one that costs money.
That's fair enough. I think when they do offer like paid versions, they usually like the ones I've seen. What was it, like Lookout on like iOS and stuff? They allow you to track your phone and do all this other stuff, or remote wipe it.
Have benefits.
Yeah, it's really beyond antivirus. It's theft protection and stuff like that.
All this other stuff. But even then, it's like that stuff's already built into Android.
And iOS.
Google already blocks, apps that you install that might have some kind of crazy virus. So Google's already scanning these apps for you, and it's just crazy because now you just have this extra layer, this extra needless. I feel like just completely needless and extra thing always running, sucking up RAM, sucking up system resources, and it's
the main thing is, unless you're like the President of the United States, there really is no one out there who's like actively trying to hack your specific phone. So it's like, so if you make it easy for people to get in there, if you do stupid things, download, apps that are not, safe, not from the Google Play Store, asking for strange permissions, then you're putting yourself in a position to be victimized. But for the most part, you're not important enough that someone's actually actively trying to get inside your phone. So I think the average user doesn't really have to worry about some kind of random malicious attack on their phone.
Yeah, they're gonna steal my bank account information or anything like that. No, most of the time it's just we're gonna put a bunch of crazy ads and stupid stuff like that. That's usually what I see. Like I open up like my not girlfriends, but chick friends. I open up their phones and I see like they have all these MP3 downloaders or video downloaders and all this other ridiculous stuff because
it's like 5 ongoing advertisements in their notification bar.
It's literally always they have all these ads in their notification bar. They're like, I don't know why that's there all the time.
You can't get rid of that.
I always win free iPads. Like I don't get it. And they're like, oh gosh. And
I think most people listening to this probably are smart enough to not fall for a lot of these apps. So just spread the information to these other people that you may know, like Chris is mentioning here. Tell them that it's unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, I love like whenever there's like a new research firm or something comes out with the latest Android malware scare. It's always like this long article about all like the scary stuff, and then at the end it's like, oh, but you actually like this isn't going to affect you unless you actually go out of your way to download it and put it on your phone and stuff. So
when I was researching some of the stuff for that article too, there was I was looking up some of the iOS malware attacks and all these security holes or whatever, and every single time it's like talking about the whole article is talking about all this scary stuff that they can do, all this stuff that hackers are making, and it's ridiculous. And at the very bottom, it's just like, oh yeah, this is only for jailbroken users, and it's like, really? Are you serious? Like if you're the 99.9% of the regular users, you don't have to worry about it. And it's like that's how it always is, I guess.
All right.
Android.
So let's move on to some actual device news. 2 devices leaked this week: the HTC One M8 Prime and the LG G3. Let's talk about the Prime first, Chris.
The Prime is I guess there's just a new leak talking about a new HTC device that's going to have a 5.5-inch display, and it's going to be, or it's rumored to be, a 2K QHD display.
Buzzword.
Which is just like, the latest buzzword. It's like if you can put 2K on something, people are gonna buy it. So, it's I think like 3 gigs of RAM and all this other stuff. Snapdragon 805 processor, all this fun stuff. And of course, people are already up in arms in the comment section and stuff. You'll see some people upset that this is going to piss off people that already bought the HTC One M8, and keep in mind this is just a rumor of a phone that's going to come out sometime later this year, and it's like 6 months from now. It's going to feel like an eternity. So it's just so ridiculous. But whatever, people are mad. Like, well, this is going to alienate people that bought the HTC One M8. They're going to feel like their phone is obsolete. This is ridiculous. This just shows that the M8 isn't selling that well. All this ridiculousness, but I mean, if you look at the screen size, it sounds like a huge phablet. It's a 5.5-inch display. Add that HTC logo bezel, add those boom sound speakers, and you got a phone that's freaking probably like around 6 inches. So,
well, they had a phablet the last generation too, didn't they?
Yeah, the HTC One Max. So I'm guessing
was giant.
All these rumors or whatever, they're just talking about the HTC One Max. I'm guessing this year HTC is probably going to try to really stick it to the Note 4 because it's kind of dominating the whole phablet market. So they're going to probably just throw everything they can, the kitchen sink, into this One Max sequel. And
Do you think that Do you think that this is HTC's make or break year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's they can't really keep doing bad. I mean, people are just like, oh, they can't turn a profit, and oh, they can't do that. I mean, if you look at their financial results and all this stuff, they're turning profit. They're just not making billions like Samsung, but they're still selling phones. They're still doing their thing. And I think this year it's going to be do well. I think that there was some reports on how the M8 sold a lot better than the M7 from last year, so that's looking good. And then they are moving. They're going to try to focus on the low end with some. They're outsourcing, I guess, their low end handsets to some other factory or some other Chinese maker, and they're going to start building, I guess, their low end devices, which is kind of cool and save some money there. So I think HTC has a lot riding on these phones for this year, and they really have built some of the best phones ever. I mean, if anyone that's ever even touched a 1M8 can just say, like, holy crap, like, you would think this was some freaking amazing smartphone maker that's like at the top right up there with Apple, but they're just like, oh wait, this is the underdog, really? But I mean, you can just see how
that
hard
actually is. That's really interesting that you say that. I wonder if it'd be cool to get someone that doesn't know anything and like put the GS5 and the HTC One M8 and like a G2 or the upcoming G3 and have them like guess, okay, which one of these manufacturers is doing the best. That would be really interesting.
Oh, that would make a really good video, actually. Just hit up the mall, hit the streets of Venice.
Put on your malware and go down. To I kind of take issue with like that question you asked, Joe, about like, is it HTC's make or break year? Simply because we've been asking that question for like the past 3 years.
So true.
When the One X came out, we were like, this is it. This is HTC's chance to like turn things around. Then when the HTC One M7 came out, we were like, okay, this is it. This is HTC's chance to turn it around. And now the One M8 comes out, and everyone's like, this is it, guys. HTC's going to turn it around this year.
If they don't,
we've slowly been turning it around, but I mean, we're not. I just settled on the fact that we're probably not going to reach some kind of milestone moment where we can look at it and say, wow, that's when HTC turned the corner.
Yeah. They have iPhone success, overnight success. This phone is huge. Everyone wants to buy it. Yeah, I don't think it'll ever. I think they'll probably just be on a slow incline up, but up is better than down. Or just stagnated.
Look, if a company fails, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's a slow decline. So yeah, they're not gonna close up shop this year. I mean, it would be very shocking if it happened, but I don't see it.
I would be very upset to see HTC go.
I don't think we're going to see HTC go anywhere anytime soon. I think the worst that would happen is they might sell the company. They might get acquired by somebody that'll,
pull out of other markets.
Them or just take their...
Hey, Lenovo, you looking for another manufacturer? All right, we got a question here that leads right into our next topic, so we'll answer that in just a sec. But the LG G3, that also leaked this week, and I think it was last week the back button leaked, and then this week we got like a full render of it in a case. Or did we get one without a case?
No, we got a okay. So last week we got the back buttons. Mm-hmm. This week we got a very clear look, an angled look, like about that angle of the whole back, so you can kind of see the texture and everything. And then EB Leaks a couple days ago also leaked a very zoomed in portion of the back, so you can kind of see it has like this brushed aluminum like finish, even though I'm pretty sure it's plastic, but
yeah, faux metal.
So it's been steady leaking all week.
Yeah, but we did see that image of it, kind of a full-on press render that a lot of resources, and I think even we might have said like this is our first official look at the phone, but then kind of some questions were raised as to whether or not that was actually like an LG render or like a render from like a case company.
Oh yeah, no, it was the case one. Yeah, the case leaked.
Yeah.
It was some case maker. I actually think it's the Ray Earth people, because I always buy the Ray Earth stuff, or Ray Worth. There's this one case maker on Amazon, and their cases look exactly like that. They cover the entire sides, and they have these little gaps on the top and bottom to kind of make it form-fitting. But it looks exactly like that. So yeah, it was just a case, and it kind of showed the front, which I was hoping it was going to look like the LG Asai, which was officially announced today, I believe. it has like absolutely no bezels or whatever on the top, but this looks more like the LG G3 looks a lot like the LG G2 from the front as far as the bezels go. So they're still very small, but they're not like the LG SI, which was just like there was nothing on top and nothing on the sides or anything. So a lot of people are kind of banking or were hoping that it was going to have no bezels on the top and stuff, but it's looking like the bezel stuff is still going to be very similar to the G2, just a whole lot higher resolution display.
Where is that high-pitched sound coming from? That's you, Chris.
Oh yeah, that is someone's vacuuming in the other room.
Oh jeez. All right, so the question we have here is probably about the biggest feature that's been leaked so far.
This was
Curly Martin asks.
This is like an official announcement, right? They officially.
Yeah. I guess you're right. It was officially. They had those LG models holding it, so that's official. He asks, is the 5.5 Quad HD LG panel that may or may not be in the LG G3 just overkill and is too big?
I do
There
not.
are a lot of people who think it's overkill.
I do not. I think if you go 5.5 inches or above, 2K is awesome. But around 5 inches or below, 1080p is adequate. But, I was kind of in that camp, the whole, all we need is 1080p, we don't need 2K, but after, looking at my 1080p display, I'm seeing pixels every now and again. I can see some funky edges, the little jagged edges and stuff. Maybe I'm just holding the phone like...
You're insane.
I don't know, it's my eyes or something, but...
You know who's one of the people that is not a fan of this because it's QHD, I guess, is Edgar, and he's I've seen on Google Plus he's been kind of
we don't need it. We don't need it, and I mean I kind of do agree, and I think it's going to suck for a lot of different reasons because like the world is barely catching up to 1080p, whether it's just applications being optimized for 1080p displays and all this stuff. A lot of them are still in the whole 720 stuff, so you see like blurry little icons and UI elements, and that stuff bugs me, and I can't even imagine what that's going to look like on a 2K display. And it's YouTube. I'm almost 100% positive the YouTube app doesn't even display at 1080p on Android right now. It's still doing 720. And
I can't load 1080p on my internet anyway, so.
I think I do kind of go into the question. I think that the QHD, the new QHD, uppercase Q Quad HD, is a little bit of overkill for a smartphone. And yeah, I mean, you look at something like the Samsung Galaxy S5 with a 5.1-inch 1080p display, and it looks really nice. It's a really nice looking display for the most part. I mean, say what you will about Samsung's kind of oversaturated colors, but the actual resolution of the display is really nice. It looks great, but I mean, I don't know if I don't know. I kind of will go along with kind of Apple's stance for the time being. I can see where they're coming from because they do the Retina, because apparently they have the science to say that the human eye can only see once you get past so many pixels. It doesn't even matter.
The human hand is perfect for 4 inches, and then now they're going to make a 5-inch phone.
That's just, to me, Apple saying that is partly probably them just justifying it to the.
Yeah.
I think there is some real science behind that, though.
But there's got to be like some science behind it. I do agree with the fact that on a certain size display, keep cramming pixels in there all you want, but at a certain point the difference starts to become negligible. When you get up to a 5.5-inch display, maybe 1080p, you can tell the difference between 1080p and QHD, maybe for some users, but for me personally, I mean, I don't really see the difference. I like a nice crisp high resolution display because it looks nice, but I personally don't consume a lot of media on my phone, so having the difference between QHD and 1080p is kind of lost on me.
Well, the other thing you have to take into consideration is these giant displays with these super high-res displays, resolution, they kind of kill your battery.
Oh, they definitely do.
Well, they always say that. They said it was 720p, and they said it with 1080p, and now they're saying it with 2K, so I would have to...
It's always been true to some extent.
Usually the first run, yeah, but I mean the G3 or G2, it has a huge battery, and the G3 is rumored to have an even bigger battery. So I think the Snapdragon processor that they're going to use in it will be able to handle it just fine. But
But that's the thing, they got to keep adding to the battery size. Like you look at
Yeah.
something like the Galaxy S5, and it's got a 2,800 milliamp hour battery, and that sounds great on paper, but then you realize that that's not actually like 2,800 milliamp hours of extra available battery. That I mean, granted, the phone does last a decent time on a charge, but part of the reason they needed that bigger battery is because it's got a
compensate.
the
Yeah.
processor, it's compensating for the screen. I mean, you look at the iPhone, which has like I think maybe a 1,500 milliamp hour battery at most, and
iPhone's ridiculous.
it gets comparable, charge times to a Galaxy S5. The Galaxy S5,
Does it really though? I mean,
Yeah,
I
the
have a
iPhone-
lot of people that complain
will-
about their iPhone
See,
battery like crazy.
I don't get that. I don't get that at all. I think maybe their phones are just old or like whatever, but my iPhone is still, relatively new. And whenever I'm gonna go out and go somewhere, I will usually take out my SIM from one of my Android phones, and I'll put it into the iPhone and take the iPhone out for the
Are
day.
you using it the same amount as your Android phone though? Like when you
I
take
mean,
it out?
Yeah, I use it. I check Instagram. I upload pictures. I take a little bit of video here and there. I use it a little bit. But I guess the real benefit is when it's just in your pocket. It's like the battery does not go anywhere. It just stays at whatever charge it
Yeah,
has.
I don't know what it is because it's like a lot of even tech journalists, like Chris Ziegler for The Verge, is someone who he constantly complains about iPhone battery life.
I
So
don't get it.
it's not even just like regular average people. It's a lot of
iPhone-
people in the industry too.
I think it's kind of the iPhone battery is a little bit fickle in a sense. I think depending on what you're doing with the phone, you can either get great battery time or you could get really terrible battery time. It's kind of one end or the other. And again, that depends on your use of the phone. And I'm not saying that the Galaxy S5 or a phone like that doesn't have better battery life than the iPhone because I think it does get slightly better battery life, but for me it's negligible. Both phones will get me through a day charging. I also think, and I mean I know a lot of people that have older generation iPhones. The iPhone battery is notorious for like just wearing out pretty rapidly. So for the
Yes,
first
that's
few
what I
months, it's
think
great.
is happening. That's exactly what I think is going on.
But I think once you have an iPhone that's a year or two old, then you definitely start to notice kind of a battery drain that's much quicker.
Yeah, I really do think that's what's going on. And I mean, there's a whole like conditioning the battery and all that stuff, which I don't think you really need to worry about anymore. That was kind of like back in the day, but I always just keep mine almost always, on a full charge, and it lasts a long time. I love the iPhone battery. And the best part is that because it's so little, it charges so quickly. So when you plug it in
Yeah.
to charge it, it's maybe like I feel like it's only like a half hour, 45 minutes, and this sucker is fully charged, and I'm like, holy crap, that was so fast. That's my favorite part. But
All right. So I think it's going to wrap up our top stories here. We'll move on to some quick hits, and the first one I want to mention because we just got a question. Well, not really a question, a comment about that. So Sprint is going to begin throttling their heavy data users.
oh shoot! No
And Lou
way.
Rod says Sprint sucks even more now.
Oh my gosh, I gotta look at the story now.
So
Oh
they're
my
gonna
gosh.
throttle-
So I
might
said on
give you,
Google
like,
Plus. Oh,
free
sorry.
data. So this is like the one that's always boasting like, oh, we still have unlimited data. Do they still have
Yep.
unlimited data? And now they're gonna, oh, you can have unlimited data. We're just gonna throttle it.
This is, I think, if I'm not wrong, T-Mobile does the same thing, or do they not even have that anymore?
No, they don't have that ad anymore.
Okay.
They're unlimited. T-Mobile does offer a completely unlimited, and as far as I know, yeah, they don't throttle you for anything. You can go buck nasty with it. 'Cause I have friends that, I'm on T-Mobile Unlimited, and he goes insane. I use like 5 gigs a month.
Jeez.
It's ridiculous, but
I think it's
yeah,
funny.
oh.
I posted about it on Google Plus. I was like, can't even like comprehend Sprint being slower. Like
Yeah.
what is that even? I can't. My mind
How
just
do you-
cannot
how do you
even
even
wrap
manage-
around that.
How is the average user even gonna manage to rack up heavy data usage on Sprint?
That's another good point.
They don't say. I'm looking it up right now. They don't say how much. They just said the top 5% of data users. So I'm
It's probably like
guessing.
a what do you call that? On a curve, you know. It's probably not even a specific amount. It's just
Yeah,
whoever is in the top 5%.
Yeah, they said that if you're doing over 5 gigs, you're likely to be in that top 5%, and it's only in congested areas too. So they're I mean, it makes sense for their network and all that, and I get it. And people, I'm all for unlimited data, but I'm telling you, some people go buck nasty with it. They'll use it for like their home internet and stuff. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, it's only 5 gigs. I think that's reasonable. I mean, I use my phone like crazy. I stream music and Netflix all the time, and I can, hit like 5 gigs sometimes on some months.
I barely come close. I don't think I ever crack a gig in an average month.
But I mean, I guess the real issue is that was kind of Sprint's saving grace was, truly unlimited. We don't have to
Yeah.
worry about, we ain't got data caps. We're not gonna throttle
there-
it. But
Is their slogan still "Unlimit Yourself" or something like that?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it hasn't changed.
Oh, jeez.
That's so crazy. Everyone is just laughing about it, like, oh, Sprint,
I know.
what are you
That
doing?
it's like you said, it's not a huge deal, but it's funny because yeah, it's the way they present themselves and how they're doing this. So
Everyone kind of knew it was coming. That's the thing, though, because it's like, well, it just makes sense for any network, any carrier to, if you're using over freaking 10 gigs of data, we gotta throttle you down, homeboy. But Sprint's whole thing was, we're unlimited. We're not like the rest of them. We're truly unlimited. You don't have to ever worry about this stuff. And now they've begun throttling top 5% of users. So
all right, so now I'll go through the rest of these a little quicker. The Nokia Treasure Tag is available from Verizon now, and that's the thing where you can like hook it on your keys, and your phone will be able to locate it if you lose it and stuff like that. It's like an NFC Bluetooth thing.
do you
it's pretty
charge
neat.
it?
Yeah, I believe. Well, that's
How
a good
would it-
question. I think it would have to be charged. Probably lasts like a really long time, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Moto X Plus One showed up on AT&T's website, and it was listed as negative $400, which was kind of funny. 6-Snap Beta for Windows Phone has the new Snapchat Conversations. That's the unofficial Snapchat app. So if you're in that, enjoy. Johnny Ives gets a Lifetime Achievement Award from the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art.
Oh, Johnny Ive.
So
Yep.
you made it out of plastic.
Unapologetically plastic
I mean, when he got the award, he immediately tried to redesign it.
is describing the award.
Samsung, they're shuffling their design team around, and I guess some people are thinking it may be because of the dimpled back Galaxy S5, but I don't think we really know for sure.
Probably
Dude,
more
there's-
about the slether than the dimpled back.
Yeah, there's
Well,
no
yes.
way. The dimpled back is
clever,
okay.
though.
No,
I like the dimpled back. The dimpled back's cool, man. It's like my
dimpled
car
back is
seats.
not even offensive compared to the left fake leather. Like,
The slather, that's what I take issue with.
Hashtag Slether. Okay, and then HTC is doing a promotion. They're giving away a Shield edition of the One M8. How do you win that, Chris?
You have to take a selfie of yourself dressed up as Captain America and hashtag it super selfie.
Okay. When does that end?
I think it was May 5th, like this weekend or something. So it's going on for
Oh,
a
it's-
while.
Okay. And then Samsung is found guilty of patent infringement again.
Again.
like $120 million more.
Yeah,
than-
roughly 120 million. Which
So,
honestly,
like-
that's nothing. That's pocket change to Samsung. So
The bigger deal will be that the bigger deal is just that they got caught. They were guilty.
Yeah.
They did it.
Is this finally over though? Is this like the last big trial that they have to go through?
Kevin,
It
it
sounds-
will never be over.
it will never be over. This is so crazy.
All right. So let's go to our wins and fails of the week. Kevin Kraus, start us out.
My win of the week, and this is like, I actually have no clue when this actually came out, but the other day I was pleasantly surprised. Every once in a while, a package will show up on my doorstep that I wasn't expecting, and I find something from one of these lovely PR people that we deal with all the time. So one company that I talk with from time to time is Braven / Incipio. I guess Incipio owns Braven now. Braven makes
Oh, really? Is that right?
Yeah. As of CES, I think that's like kind of when they announced there were. It was close to like the beginning of this year. The two companies. I don't think they merged. I think one of them owns the other one, but
I
they're
need to check that out
they're
because
together.
Incipio, they're my boys. I love them.
Yeah. So Braven makes wireless speakers, and they make some pretty nice, more ruggedized ones that you can take outside. So I was pleasantly surprised to get the BRV-X Braven wireless Bluetooth speaker. Did a review of it on Fandroid this week. Again, I'm not sure if this is brand new on shelves. I know it was new around CES was when they announced it. I don't know if it just recently hit shelves, but I think it came out within the past couple of months. But it's a nice wireless speaker. I think it's particularly apt considering we're heading into summer. It's not waterproof. You can't dunk it underwater, but it's water resistant, rugged design, so you can take it around on your outdoor adventures. Be great for at the beach, next to the pool. I used it at a little barbecue I had at my house this weekend. It was pretty good. Sound quality could be a little bit better, but I think for all the kind of features you get, such as the ruggedness, it has a big 5,000 some milliamp hour battery and the ability to charge your devices right through it. So a lot of quality features, nice design, pretty portable, and pretty solid sound. So I'm gonna give them a thumbs up for that.
Before you move on, I went to their site and I think it is pretty new because it's the main thing on their website right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it launched either last month. I looked around for some other kind of reviews of it, and most of the reviews were popping up over the past month or so. I know it was announced at CES, so I'm just not sure if it's, but I'm pretty sure it's already on shelves. I think you can buy it today. So that's the Braven BRV-X. So if you're looking for a new Bluetooth speaker, it's $200, so it's I guess that's a pretty average price for this size portable speaker. So it's not cheap by any means. If you have two of them, it's cool. You can actually pair them in a stereo pair and have one be the left speaker and one be the right speaker.
Oh, that's really cool.
I mean, that might be useful if you have a friend that has one, but I wouldn't. I mean, at that point, you're spending $400. You probably could buy a better speaker system. But I mean, I can recommend it if you're in the market for a new Bluetooth speaker that you can take outdoors with you on your kind of summer adventures. I recommend it, and you can see the full review on Fandroid again for the Braven BRV-X. As for my fail of the week, I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm sure you did. The Epson Moverio BT200 glasses, like their smart glass platform. We actually got a chance to check out, I think, the first generation of this at CES. Was not cool at all. Oh, Chris just dropped out. It kind of sucked, but unlike Google Glass, which packages all of this kind of whatever augmented reality or whatever overlay just all in one little package you put on your head, this even in its second generation has a wired controller that's about the size of a smartphone that you still put in your pocket and carry around with you. So
it's wired.
It's a wired, well, wireless to an extent, but the computer, it's basically they took a smartphone and linked it to a pair of glasses. Think about you're carrying around a second smartphone with a long wire attached to it.
Epson, now wait, isn't Epson like? Don't they make printers?
Yeah, this is the same Epson that makes the printers.
What the heck?
Yeah, so this is a printer company. So, I mean, they do other stuff, but I mean, you probably know them best for their printers. But again, we got to check out the earlier kind of prototype version of this at CES. Played some like weird game on it. I think Chris tried it out too when we were out there.
Oh gosh.
It pretty dumb, I would say, but like I don't know. I think it's a fail. You'd think they make the second edition of it, they would find some way to incorporate the secondary like computer into. It just seems like this needs a couple more revisions.
It needs to be a universal like peripheral for like any Android phone. It needs to be where you can take any Android phone and plug your glasses into it, and then play those games or do whatever the heck you want to do. But yeah, the way it is right now, you have a separate like entire Android device that's like the brains of it, and it plugs into you, and you look all weird when you like. It like magnifies your eyeballs so they're all big when people are looking at you, and you're just like. It's like it's the best. It's crazy.
All right. So my wins and fails. My win is I don't know. I think it came out earlier today. Microsoft and Nokia made this video, and it's like it's a Rube Goldberg machine with Nokia, like old Nokia phones. And I don't even really know the point to the video. All it says at the end is phone just got a lot more colorful or something like that. But the Rube Goldberg machine is really cool. It has a bunch of Nokia phones in it. It has some newer ones, has some older ones. It's really neat. So I think it's on Nokia's YouTube account if you want to see it. It was really cool, I thought.
Nokia.
Nokia. My fail of the week is, and this goes kind of with the G3, a gold version was leaked. I believe that was the G3. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The HTC One, I thought, had like a solid like 24 karat gold version.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that one. Yeah, they had like a really expensive gold plated one, but I'm pretty sure it was the G3, a gold version leaked, and I just am really sick of the gold phone phenomenon. I mean, most of them look really dumb. I think the iPhone was the only one that I would even consider owning. But I don't know. I'm done with the gold.
Yeah, I like all of them. Well, as long as they're like.
How can you like all of them? I mean,
most of them. As long as they're like.
The S5 was a Band-Aid.
That didn't make sense though, because there's no such thing as gold leather. So that was it made it look like
this G3 one, it doesn't look like it's not real gold, so it looks super fake.
It's like
if it's like,
I don't like that one either. Yeah, you're right.
Plastic or like if it's like a brushed metal with like a gold finish, I could see it. But if you've got like a plastic device with like a glittery gold paint on it, that's just kind of cheesy.
And that's the only reason the iPhone one worked, because it was actual legit metal, and you could tell that by looking at it.
That's why the HTC One, last year's HTC One looks bomb in gold. I would have given.
But even that one, I think a lot of them, and the other reason why I think the iPhone one worked is it wasn't like super gold, because they actually didn't call it gold. It was champagne, A lot of them they're too gold. The iPhone was a little bit more muted.
The M7 was a good shade too, though, and then it's like that anodized aluminum or whatever. So it was and it was mixed with black. That was my favorite part.
I like when they mix in the gold accents. Like when the accents are gold, that's cool. But when you kind of have, just a solid chunk of gold plastic.
Yeah, gold plastic, man, not cool. All right, Chris, what do you got?
Solid gold in it. So my win for the week is going to be, we actually didn't write this up on Fandroid yet, but there was a chick, it was on Kotaku, she implanted, she's like an app developer or something, but she implanted an NFC chip right here into her hand by herself. It's so crazy. So she has a video of her doing it, and then she shot it in there somehow, and it looks disgusting, and like it's probably pretty painful. But I think it's really cool.
So what's she going to do with it?
Yeah, like what kind of information is on that chip now?
So she has it so that you can, if other people with NFC phones were to scan it, it'll take them to her like Dropbox where she has the games and stuff. So
why not
it'll automatically open
phones together or something.
Yeah, you could do that too, but I mean, how cool is it just to be like, "Yo, bro, what?" and just like touch their phone?
What you need now is to have the NFC and then like a Bluetooth transmitter so you can like high five somebody and then it links your two phones and they like.
You're immediately made friends on Facebook.
Just think about this, because this is where we're going, and I'm all for it. Yeah, it's like Sign of the Beast or Mark of the Beast and all that stuff, Book of Revelation, scary stuff. But this is so awesome, and she has it also too, where her phone is locked, and all she has to do is just tap her phone on her hand, and it unlocks it. Cool. That is just so freaking cool. And yeah, like you said, like in the future, everyone's gonna have NFC chips planted in their hands, and we can just high five each other and like exchange information, like shake someone's hand, and you have like their contact info, like that. It's just so cool. I think it was just the dopest thing.
I mean, is this even safe, like for your body?
Well, people get implant stuff all the time, so
yeah. And once again, I want to ask: is this even safe for your body? Because doctors are not really the ones doing this most of the time.
Yeah, that's the funny part, is that she is all into the whole body modification stuff. So she's got piercings everywhere and like implants already.
That makes more sense if you're already into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so she's all into that. She's an app developer, so she knows about all the technology stuff. So she was like super into it, and she feels like she's making herself into like this cyborg or something weird, and probably watched a little too much, like played a little too much Fallout or something. But it's cool. It's really cool, and if there was some place that was doing it legit, like some doctor somewhere, I would totally do it. I would get NFCs on my fingertips, on my feet. I think that's just the coolest thing ever. It's the future. It's the future. But that's my win. So my fail is going to be the Asus Padphone X video. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the most horribly weirdest, awkwardest video since that weird Samsung, what was it, for the Galaxy Gear?
Oh, I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
And it was like, even then though, like with with Samsung's commercial, they never once just came out and said, "You're going to get chicks, bro."
That's what it says?
It was just implied in the Samsung video. So the guy is just like doing stuff, and the chick, he ends up getting the chick somehow. So it's like a little part him, a little part Galaxy Gear, a little part Samsung.
So you're saying the Asus one just straight up says you're gonna get chicks?
At the end of the video, there's this chick just sitting in the park with her dog. This dude comes out of nowhere, the nerdiest dude ever, sits next to her. He whips out his Asus Padphone X, and he's just like, yeah. Puts it in there, shows her how it does stuff, and she's like, "Oh wow!" And the acting, there's no like actual voice dialogue or anything, but the acting was so horrible that you could see like how uncomfortable.
You know, that's actually some pretty that's some like innuendo right there. I mean, putting the phone in the tablet.
It's like, hey, you like it? And it was just so awkward. And at the very end, it says, "Get the girl with the Asus Padphone X."
Wow.
And I could understand if this was like a commercial for, Chinese markets, or, maybe something got lost in the translation. I've seen all kinds of crazy commercials from, the other side of the globe and all that. But this was uploaded to AT&T's channel, and AT&T is showing off like, hey, this is the Asus Padphone X. Get the girl, bro.
How are the comments on that video?
There really not that many people have even seen it. So most people are like, what the F? Like, that was incredibly awkward, or people were just like, "Oh my gosh, that was horrible," and it's kind of a disaster.
Submit it to our cringeworthy.
Oh, good idea.
All right, Kevin, app picks.
All right, so I didn't have one that really stuck out to me this week as a new app to recommend to you guys, a new app or game, but something that you might already have on your phone and not realize it, because a lot of us automatically update our current apps, and I know a lot of people, especially if you're an Android user, already have Google Maps on your phone. But if you haven't noticed and you didn't check it out yet, there is a pretty large Google Maps update for both iPhone, for iOS and Android, and it has some cool features that can be pretty useful. It's got new lane guidance features, so I mean, aside from just traffic, it can also be like, okay, there's a lot of traffic coming up, but the fastest moving lane is the left lane, so you get in the left lane now, so you don't have to be kind of stuck later on. It tells you lane recommendations. There's some new offline map management features to go along with kind of your offline maps that already exist, and a few other updates. I thought a neat note was there's now a way to compare your transit options to Uber cab time. So if you use Uber a lot, which I have become a pretty frequent Uber user as of late, that's useful. So you can see, what's the quickest way to get someplace, and it'll tell you, Uber is probably the quickest way, and you can even bounce right into the Uber app. So a lot of pretty cool tweaks and changes that make it even more useful. I think Google Maps might be kind of legendary status for me, because I think it kind of really stunk for a while, but they've really put a lot of good work into it, and it's one of the
legendary status.
It's one of the best mobile apps I think out there with a lot of features.
It was getting really good for a while, and then Google did the whole like complete revision, which I think was like last year at Google I/O. They were talking about it, and then it came out a little bit after that. But so it's almost been a year. So ever since they did that complete revision, they removed like all kinds of stuff that they used to have. So they used to have filters when like you're searching for businesses. They got rid of that, but that made a return now in the latest update. And the whole offline maps thing, they messed up that, and now like they brought that back, and they have it so you can manage it and all this other stuff. So they're really just kind of bringing back some of their old features, new and improved. And it's like, yeah, this is awesome. But I mean, we kind of had it before.
I'm excited to try out the lane guidance thing.
Yeah, the lane guidance is cool because I mean, I do a lot of driving, and LA is stupid when it comes to. Oh my gosh, I don't know who designed these freeways. I think they were designed like back in the like 1900s or something. Like they're horrible. So they're like there's lanes that go overlap lanes, and you never know where you're supposed to go. But now with lane guidance, it's going to tell you, stay in this one that just kind of angles, or go in the very left lane, and it's really helpful because it gives you a visual cue versus just the audio guidance that the lady normally tells you. She's like, okay, now get over here, and then later she'll tell you stay in the lefter lane or whatever, and you have to do it. But now it actually shows you in the app. This is the lane you're going to get into.
You know what would be awesome? I just had like a glimpse into the future. Google self-driving cars and Google Maps. Like the lane guidance thing is very much a self-driving car type feature where it knows what lanes to be in. Now, what if you just in the future you buy a car and you can put your phone in some kind of dock and it becomes a self-driving car?
I mean, it could be. That's years away, but I think
And you don't even
just
need
imagine how cool that would be.
They have NFC built into the steering wheel, and your NFC chip in your hand will just turn on your car so no one else can steal your car.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Oh.
The future, man.
The future, man.
It's here. The future is here. But anyway, that's Google Maps, so you guys already probably have it.
Yeah, the update just hit my phone like a couple days ago. Like maybe yesterday or something. Took a while, but finally got it.
My app pick is actually also an update, and I don't know how many of you guys or the listeners use Tumblr, but it's kind of one of my guilty pleasures. I've been using Tumblr for like literally 4 years, which is weird. But they got an update today to their mobile app where you can like completely customize how your profile looks in the app, which is really cool because that's something you can do on the web version of Tumblr. Like everyone's profile page looks dramatically different, like almost a little bit like MySpace, except a little less ugly. Well, I guess it depends on who you are, but most of them are less ugly than that. But in the mobile app, they all look exactly the same. So now you can really customize it. You can change like font color. You can change font in general. You can change the background color and things like that. And it's cool because the guys, they basically said like, hey, every social network gives you your own page, but they all look exactly the same, Like me and Chris's Facebook page look exactly the same except for like a different cover photo and stuff. But generally it's just the same. So they're trying to kind of change that where you can customize things a little bit more, and I think that's really cool that they're doing that.
That is pretty awesome. Tumblr's great.
And that was for iOS and Android, by the way.
Yeah. Sweet. So I guess we'll go on to my app pick for the week.
What do you got for it?
Yes, we will.
My app pick for the week is going to be Viral Floating YouTube Pop-Up. That's the actual name of the app.
Name of an app.
All different words. Viral Floating YouTube Pop-Up. And it's not a virus. Don't worry. You don't need to have a virus scanner installed. But all it does is it's a YouTube pop-up, and it's an old app. It's been around for a long time, and I kind of forget it's there sometimes or forget to install it. But ever since Link Bubble, I don't know if you guys remember too long ago, the Link Bubble came out, which kind of changes the way you use your applications and social networks and stuff. So now when you're scrolling through Twitter, you can just click links, and it just opens them up in Link Bubble. I mean, that's awesome, right? Because you can just keep going and reading while the thing's loading up. But with Viral Pop-Up, you can also click YouTube links, and bloop, it'll open up the Viral Pop-Up, and you can just continue scrolling, doing whatever, and watching the video. So if you're on, social networks, Facebook, whatever, messaging apps, someone's like, oh, check out this video, you can click it, and you just have a pop-up. You can watch the video in the separate corner of your screen while you're still messaging people and talking about whatever, and it's just so convenient and so awesome. And
I actually I saw that you had written that in the document before we started, and I downloaded it like right before we went live, and I used it a little bit, and yeah, it's really neat. I didn't even know you could click on a link from any app and it would open in a a window like that. That's really neat.
So awesome and so convenient, especially if you spend a lot of time on Twitter or Facebook and watching videos and all that. So I definitely recommend you try it out if you haven't already.
A good thing for someone that doesn't typically have like somewhere between 30 to 50 tabs open.
Yeah, it's you don't want to open up more tabs, trust me. Also, I just want to point out as well is that that's another key area where I guess Android kind of outshines iOS is that you can have these little pop-ups like that. So Link Bubble and the floating YouTube pop-up and all that stuff. That's like
I think
coolest.
the funniest aspect kind of in relation to that is it always just kind of cracks me up that the Facebook app has chat heads in iOS, but like they're only inside the Facebook app, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like what's the point of having these?
So ridiculous.
I know, it's not even chat heads. Like, why even call it that? Yeah.
It's just the floating head.
Hey guys, this is pretty cool if you never
You're always
leave the
in, like,
Facebook app.
Facebook floaters.
I mean, that's probably the idea, though. They're like, never leave our app, and you
Please.
can use chat heads.
Please stay in our app. I mean, that's why they made the whole launcher, the Facebook launcher and all that stuff, is because they want you to stay with Facebook.
All right, well, let's not start a giant Android versus iOS debate right as we're about to end this podcast. We have one question here that I want to get to before we say goodbye. This is from Curley Martin again. So the Moto X Plus 1 is rumored to be a 5.2-inch 1080p device. After all the debate last year with the Moto X, that the optimal size for a phone is 4.7 inches, why would they go to that size? Why would they go bigger when they said 4.7 was the exact perfect size? And that's a good question, actually.
Well, I mean, what did Apple? Apple said 4 inches was the optimal size, and they're gonna make theirs bigger.
I mean,
so.
the short answer is companies say things and believe a certain thing until they don't.
Yeah. But that's just an interesting question. Is because I mean, it technically, we've seen it on the G2 and all that. You can just shrink the bezels down even more. So there is some room on the Moto X right now where you can shrink the bezel and just make the display a little bit bigger.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Whether or not they'll do that, we don't really ever see anyone ever do that when they make their displays bigger, except for the G2. So the G2 was the first, which kind of means it's possible. And I'm crossing my fingers that because the Moto X was honestly the best sized phone ever. I freaking loved that size. But
I mean, it's not a smartphone and it's not an Android device, but I think one of the best examples of recent times of being able to maximize screen space and kind of shrink bezels down was definitely the iPad Air. I mean, in comparison to older iPad models, they were able to reduce a lot of the bezel with the iPad.
Right.
So
I could see Motorola doing that, like making the screen bigger, but they'll be like, oh yeah, and it's only like a couple millimeters wider and taller, and blah blah blah. So yeah, hopefully they do that.
Hoping they do that, because the Moto X was freaking awesome as far as bezel ratios go and all that. So.
All right. So that's gonna wrap it up for this week. You can get in touch with us. New thing I wanted to start this week: #MobileRoar. If you want to ask us something on Twitter.
Took us 45 episodes to get a hashtag.
I know, for real. But this is a lot easier than emailing us. If you want to ask us something or get our attention and you don't want to like tweet directly at us or follow us or whatever, just #MobileRoar and we'll see it. You can also use our email address, podcast@mobileroar.com. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Windows Phone Store. Leave us a review in those places. And you can follow us on Twitter. Chris is at GamerCore, Kevin is at YouDon'tKnowKev, and I am at TallSchmo. So we will see you guys next week with more mobile news and fun. See you later.
Bye, guys.